We are going to revise this topic, phases of clinical trial. We know very well there are 4 phases in clinical trial, and what are the current developments in this phases? Any modifications, anything we are following now? That all we are going to update in this discussion. Uh, Clinical trial is conducted in various phases because to ensure safety among the trial participants, initially we start with a very minimum number of participants, and later we'll slowly increase the number of participants enrolled. So thereby we can avoid unnecessary exposure of an untested material on participants, and we can ensure safety on human subjects. So that is the reason we are doing in phases. Drug development is a process in this logical stepwise procedure in which the information from early studies is used to support and plan later larger, more definitive studies. So earlier we are doing on animals, and also we are collecting previous research data. Accordingly, we are getting approval for a clinical trial, and we are trying to do testing on human subjects. During clinical trial, we do a systematic study of pharmaceutical products on human subjects, whether patients or non-patient volunteers. Healthy adult individuals also we use in phase 1 in order to verify the clinical pharmacological. In pharmacological, that includes pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic parameters and adverse drug reactions, anything with the object of determining their safety and efficacy. That should be the aim of a research. Only by testing either any adverse drug reactions or side effects, that is not the aim of a clinical trial. We have to test the safety and efficacy. That should be the outcome of clinical trial. On the process, we can find out, confirm the safety in various parameters. We are why clinical trials are important, because the new treatment, whether it is applicable in human subject, whether it is safe. For the to answer these two important questions, we need to experiment on human subjects in various phases. Clinical trials answers critical research questions and also finds better treatment and ways to prevent diseases. So it is should be approved. There is if any other procedures are available, then we can go for a harmless treatment procedures. Otherwise, we have to apply a minimum risk, and we should experiment on human subject. Phases of clinical trial, if you see an overview, these phases are, there are 4 phases. Phase 1, we can call it as an early phase. Phase 2, late phase, and phase 3 also comes under late phase. And then phase 4 is called as post-marketing phase. This IND means investigational new drug. That investigational drug will not be considered as a drug. Only after crossing the phase 3, it will be named as new drug, NDA, new drug application. That will be filed once after getting approval for marketing. Then we will proceed to phase 4. So this is the way the approval is given. So initially, once after animal experiments, safety is proven on animal studies, then we will apply for an investigational new drug status, and then we proceed phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Here we mainly concentrate on human pharmacology, therapeutic exploratory in phase 2, and phase 3 therapeutic confirmatory type of studies we do, and then finally we apply to mankind therapeutic use. So this is the overview of clinical trial phases. And if you see the number of compounds screened in phase wise, if you see, many compounds, around 5,000 to 10,000 compounds pass animal studies. After animal studies, they will be screened under phase 1. That will be screened with a very small number of patients. Those who are healthy adult individuals, volunteers will be chosen, and it will be experimented on them, not on diseased patients. After phase 1, out of 5,000 to 10,000, only 250 number of molecules only qualify for phase 2. So that many may chances to fail. After 250, only 5 are eligible to pass in phase 3, and after phase 3, out of 5, only one there may be a chance to get approved as a drug by regulatory authorities. In India, not FDA, it is CDSCO. So phases of clinical trial, practically we see there is phase 0 is there, phase 1 after that, then phase 2, in that there are two types, phase 2A, 2B, and in phase 3 also phase 3A, phase 3B, and phase 4. Like that, practically we are doing. Actually, there are only 4 phases, but practically there are these many type of subdivisions are there. Phase 0 means what? Phase 0 means micro dosing studies, we normally used to call. We use only subtherapeutic level of dose on human subjects immediate, and we experiment on them. Immediately after animal studies, we immediately we don't start human studies with therapeutic dose. What we do, the dose which is confirmed by animal studies, in that very diluted amount, for example 1/100th dose only we prepare and administered on human subjects, and we study only the pharmacokinetic parameters. We don't worry about therapeutic efficacy of the drug in this stage. We test only the pharmacokinetic parameters. So sufficient data we will collect, and then after confidence we proceed to phase 1. The reason is we don't have proper pharmacokinetic pharmacodynamic data on human subjects for investigational new drugs. Only we have data on animals. So first in human before first in human studies, we need to develop some data. So for that we do this phase 0. Microdosing studies, a new viable tool in drug development toolbox. In that European regulatory authorities, US FDA, how they are defining this microdosing means use of 100 microgram of candidate drug or less than 1/100th of the pharmacological dose determined from the animal models and in vitro systems using the test substances. So that much only to be used. So for unanimously all drugs, all investigational new drugs, only this much amount and not more than this much amount should be used for testing, 100 microgram only. Or otherwise, if you feel this will not show any effect, you cannot confirm from this small amount, then you can take 1/100th of the pharmacological dose fixed by animal LD50, ED50 experiments. A maximum microdose of not less than 30 nanomolecules of protein products. This is for protein products. This is the level confirmed by FDA. A maximum microdose is 30 nanomolecules only, nanomoles only. So less than that only we have to use for this microdosing experiment. The reason for following this phase 0 is to confirm the safety at the very initial stage itself. Small sample size of 10 to 15 subjects only we are using in this study. We are using only healthy, normal adult volunteers only for this study. Only 10 to 15 participants. We conduct micro dose studies to obtain information on human pharmacokinetics as early as possible. We compare the absorption, distribution, metabolism, elimination parameters from several drug candidates where animal data may be conflicting. So we have only animal data and we compare this data with this experimental data. Helps in selecting the first dose for a phase 1 study. So based on this phase 0 only, we are fixing the human dose. Validate animal model for pharmacology and toxicology. So thereby we can able to confirm that this animal models also giving a proven result that is similar to human experiments. So we can believe these animal models in future studies also. So one confirmation we are getting. Pharmacoeconomics, cost benefit analysis we are doing. Uh, so we no need to invest much further on any uh, drugs which are showing toxicity in the initial stage itself. Goal of phase 0 studies is to assess whether the mechanism of action defined in preclinical studies is achieved or not. Specific biomarkers or targets in human studies that we can confirm. For example, based on the mechanism of action of a drug, we can fix some biomarkers. This will target on this particular enzyme, this particular metabolized and produce this product, bind and in this particular organ, like that. We can keep some biomarkers for each molecule, that is product drug to drug, it may change. So that we can confirm what is the biomarker for this investigational new drug. Determine special methods to assess the pharmacokinetics of the drug, and novel methods to evaluate the pharmacodynamics, and the human pharmacodynamic data prior to phase 1 we will have. So we will have confidence to proceed this drug for phase 1. Advantages of microdosing: requires minute quantity of drug, a very small quantity, not intended to produce any pharmacological effect. With this, we won't produce any effect. Only the absorption, metabolism, distribution, elimination data we will collect from this. Risk of adverse events less. Decrease time of drug development, decrease cost significantly. Reduce animal testing. Helps patient and industry with earlier availability of test drugs. So this is the advantages. Disadvantages also there. Insufficient information on body's reaction to microdose. We don't know. Sometimes microdose also may produce some unwanted effects. And the response to microdose and the normal dose may differ sometimes. Microdosing may not be predict kinetic parameters accurately for drugs showing non-linear kinetics. If a dose is higher, responses may be higher. Dose is less, very less. So that non-linear kinetic drugs will not show proper results. Metabolism and stability of compounds also, it is difficult to find with very small quantity. Limited specificity. So these are the disadvantages related to phase 0. We move to phase 1. We know very well human pharmacology studies are called as phase 1 studies. This is otherwise known as first in man studies. So after phase 0, we move to phase 1, and here very small number of patients we incorporate, 20 to 80 healthy volunteers only, not diseased patients. 20 to 80 patients only. Includes trial designs to assess the safety, tolerability, pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics. That is the aim. Phase 1 trials, in this we design the experiments like this: single ascending dose studies, multiple ascending dose studies, pharmacogenomic studies, ADME studies. You see what is that? In phase 1, phase 1A, phase 1B. There are phase 1 also, there are two subdivisions, classifications are there. Phase 1A is called as single ascending dose studies. Phase 1B is called as multiple ascending dose studies. What is single ascending dose studies? Means a small group of subject given single dose of drug and observed for a period of time. Only single dose we administer. If pharmacokinetic data in line with predicted safe value, the dose is increased in a new group of subjects. We took another new group and another higher dose we'll administer, and we'll confirm whether it is safe or what. And continue till maximum tolerated dose, MTD, is defined. So as per animal experiments, we know which is the maximum tolerated dose. Beyond that, toxicity will be higher. Up to that level, we use a new group of individuals and we test with only one single dose. We confirm the safety. That is called a single ascending dose studies. That is phase 1A. After phase 1A, we move to phase 1B. That is called multiple ascending dose. A group of subjects receives multiple low doses of the drug. We give low doses, multiple doses, twice daily, thrice daily, like that, or different doses, 1 milligram, 2 milligram, like that, and the therapeutic level based on the therapeutic level of the drug. Samples of blood and other body fluids collected at various time point and analyzed give better understanding of pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamics of the drug. So same group we will give multiple doses and we study, and slowly we increase the dose also. So like that, we develop a proper pharmacokinetic data. So in 1A we confirm the safety, in 1B we confirm the pharmacokinetic parameters. Then ADME studies in phase 1 that confirm the objective is to assess the absorption, distribution, routes and rates of excretion, assess the metabolite profile, metabolite identification. These are the objectives of phase 1. Pharmacogenomic study is also a part of phase 1. Pharmacogenomics means we assess any change, variation produced by the drug in DNA, RNA level. DNA, RNA characteristics, any relevant changes are there, contribute to a greater understanding of individual differences in the efficacy and safety of investigational drug. Person to person variation, anything is there or what we find. And then information obtained from phase 1 studies are maximum tolerated dose we confirm. Already we confirmed by animal studies, now we are confirming by human studies. Nature of adverse reactions expected can be planned in this stage. Preliminary characteristics of the drug can be confirmed. Accumulation of parent drug metabolites in the body, protein binding related data, bioavailability in presence of food can be confirmed. Drug-drug interactions that can be confirmed. Then here one more phase is there. Phase 1, 2 we used to call 1 bar 2. Phase 1 bar 2 will be done on certain group of patients. We don't do phase 1 directly, we do phase 1 bar 2. That is nothing but here we don't use healthy volunteers, we use patients in that place. Directly we experiment investigation and bring new drugs on patients. Only in special cases like anti-cancer drugs, HIV drugs are tested like that. We don't use healthy volunteers to test this drug because these drugs normally the normal dose of the drug can't be tolerated by healthy individuals, but that can be tolerated by diseased patients because very high doses it may produce high adverse drug reactions on normal individuals if it is given in normal dose level. So we don't recommend healthy adult individuals in this study. So this kind of studies without doing on experimenting on healthy volunteers, directly testing on patients, that is called phase 1 bar 2. Here we do only anti-cancer, anti-HIV drugs. Here we confirm therapeutic range. The ratio is too narrow to test anti-arrhythmic drugs. For that drugs we use and neuroleptic drugs we test by this phase 1 bar 2. Here after this phase 1 bar 2, the next phase is phase 2. Phase 2, after phase 1 or phase 1 bar 2, we move to phase 2. In this phase 2 also there are two subclassifications. Phase 2A, phase 2B. What is this phase 2A means? Studies designed to demonstrate clinical efficacy or biological activity. Here the aim, based on the aim we are classifying like this. Here it is designed to demonstrate clinical efficacy only and biological activity, how it is producing the pharmacology. Phase 2B is to find the optimum dose at which the drug shows biological activity with minimum side effect. Which is the optimum dose that confirms very less side effects. So the based on this 2 aim, and the phase 2 is divided into 2A and 2B. So as we discussed in the earlier slide, phase 2A, phase 2A, therapeutic exploratory study. It is known as therapeutic exploratory study. Here, study confirms the therapeutic effect of the drug and confirms the hypothesis conceptualized. That means on the animals we have proved that it is showing this effect. First time we are going to prove that in human subject also it is having this effect. And features are treatment against a disorder, homogeneous population are required, and strict inclusion exclusion criteria we should follow. There should not be any disturbances of other medications, other comorbid conditions, and placebos and fixed treatment regimens are followed in this type of phase 2A. One or more than one dose are tested here, and few specialized clinical trial sites are chosen, and a long washout period is required between treatments. So long duration is required to complete this study. One treatment to next treatment, we have to wait for some duration. So like that, by we can completely prove the therapeutic efficacy of the drug in this phase 2A. So because of these requirements, we need a higher sample size, 50 to 500 subjects in this phase 2A to confirm the therapeutic efficacy of the drug. Clinical parameters, symptoms and signs of the disease are the targets, and measures or study diseases are the laboratory tests we use, and we confirm many, already we confirmed many biomarkers, and we include biochemical markers for disease prognosis. So this disease is still there or reduced or no effect, that will be confirmed by fixing some biomarkers and monitoring that biomarkers. And pharmacokinetic and population pharmacokinetic analysis will be done, and endpoints in this study are clinical endpoints preferred are primary outcome are usually hard and sample outcome. That is duration for visible clinical effect is long. We need to confirm the adverse drug reactions related to this phase 2A. We need to wait for a long duration. Also, one test to a next test to move in between, we need a long gap. So the previous effect will be nullified and the second effect will start. So for that we have to wait. So because same group we are experimenting. So in multiple sclerosis, number of uh, gadolinium exposed enhanced lesion at 6 months on MRI, rather clinical exacerbation at 2 years. These are some examples that explains how much duration we should normally wait in some special procedures. Information obtained from phase 2A are it proves primary hypothesis, that is the drug is having effect or not having any effect. Efficacy, what is the range of the dose in which it is having that effect, and how much side effect also associated with that, and effect size, and around how many people are getting this, percentage of people are getting therapeutic efficacy, adverse events, anything, biomarker profiling, whether the biomarker confirms or what. After this, we move to 2B. Here, the actual aim is finding the optimum dose level of the drug. The dose range finding is the aim of this 2B. Determine optimal dose response range, test different doses and find optimal dose, which is showing very less adverse drug reactions. Patients population defined, and we should have a defined population, so we should have a proper inclusion exclusion criteria, and placebo active control criteria is very much essential. Then only we can confirm that based on the placebo therapy only we can confirm that the adverse drug reactions are minimum in some groups, test groups. Tight inclusion exclusion criteria to be followed. Multi-center, multinational trials are required. Then only we can experiment and generalize the studies on various group of races. Phase 2B dose range finding, in this we need a minimum of 300 to 400 subjects Efficacy targets are clinical parameters, laboratory tests, biomarkers, pharmacokinetic, pharmacokinetics on population. Endpoints are clinical endpoints, surrogate endpoints, and here the information obtained from phase 2b studies are we confirm the dose response, frequency, additional adverse drug reactions, identify co-founding factors, type of patients more responsive to treatment. So all will be confirmed by this code. So once these results are satisfactory, then we move to phase 3. Before moving to this phase 3, we see how this phase 2 results are worldwide showing results. Here, blue area is efficacy, orange area is commercially applicable, and gray area is safety, and this yellow area is their distribution metabolism pharmacokinetic parameters. In this, only 51% are showing efficacy in this phase 2. Remaining 50% almost fails in this. The success rate in phase 2 has declined from 28% in 2006 to 7 to 19% in 2008 to 9. The reason is we are strengthening with various rules and regulations. So the approval from phase 2 to phase 3, we are following very strict measures. So nowadays, only 19% is approved. Process this phase 2. Phase 3 are also have two different types: phase 3A, phase 3B. Shall we continue in the next class? I stop recording.
Yes, sir. Yes.